want to welcome you all. We also have those who are going to be presenting to us, the projects, the things that they are doing. So the innovations that they are doing, we want to also acknowledge you. So just to give an overview of what transpired yesterday, just a brief review of the things that happened yesterday. I think we had quite a number of presentations that were shared with us from the WRC team, and also from the IUCMA, from COBRA, from DWS, and we learned that there were a lot of challenges, key challenges, things that we need to address. And some of the things, the key messages, were the issues around, capacity building, challenges of climate change, water and sanitation issues that we still need to deal with. And I think we learned that there's a huge gap in terms of the things that we need to do within our province. And we are looking forward that the partnership between the university and other institutions that we have within the province, together with the Water Research Commission, we are going to have a good example set in our province. That's what we are looking forward for that. With all these challenges, and we know that for the past 50 years, WRC have been doing a lot of work, and we want to implement some of those work that has been done, as the presentations were shared yesterday. So sometimes it's not something very unique and new that we want to do, but we just want to see the impact of these things within us. So thank you very much. I don't want to waste time much. I want us to get into the business of the day, where we want to invite Mr. Philip Majeke from WRC just to come and present on the WRC Innovations Database Overview and Test Bed Partnerships. So over to you, sir. Let's clap your hands for him.
Thank you, Program Chair. Good morning, everyone. And I will just say that all protocol observed from what Dr. Tendai has already indicated in terms of all the stakeholders that are here. So in just the next few minutes, I would like to take you through some of the innovations that are within the Water Research Commission that we have tested through some of the partners that we have around the country. So you would have seen yesterday that the WRC actually has some themes that one of the research managers, Dr. Wandile, has indicated that the three themes are water availability, water use, water quality, and health. And also often the Water Research Commission does calls for innovations to meet the needs of the sector and the stakeholders in the ecosystem. And these innovations, of course, as just even now Dr. Tendai has said, has to address some of the challenges, especially build climate change adaptation, as well as reduce vulnerability and enhance resilience. And some of the testbed partners include universities, technology developers, grassroots innovators, business entrepreneurs, as well as innovators. So in terms of innovation, some of the focus areas under the theme water availability, we look at tools and apps which actually today you will be taken through a presentation of some of them. And we look at alternative sources of water, including groundwater, rainwater harvesting, fog water harvesting, stormwater harvesting, as well as as Vimba said yesterday, it's no longer called acid mine drainage, it's mine influenced water. And also treatment of technologies, so that now you can even use some of these alternative sources of water that may not be fit for purpose to now treat it to a fit for purpose quality. And also, of course, protecting the resources, as well as a whole lot of background yesterday has been given in terms of our status of water resources in our country. And also monitoring, which actually Wandile also yesterday alluded to that. And in terms of water use, we also look at water conservation and demand management, water losses, remote sensing, robotics, and some form of AI and use of technological innovations in that area to try to improve water conservation and demand management. And we have some of the innovations that will be showcased later on, and in terms of some of the work or this focus area that can help in terms of that. And water efficiency is quite important. Actually, I'm on a WhatsApp group which yesterday an alert came in to say, water alert, to say that Gauteng, all the councillors in Gauteng are required to attend the meeting with fire and water, because a few days back, Professor I think Tuton from University of Free State indicated that if Gauteng does not conserve water by 10% or reduce efficiency by, at least reduce the use by 10%, we will face the day zero soon. So water efficiency is quite key, not only for there, but also for here as well. And as you have heard yesterday from agriculture and even the mining and the industries, in terms of water use, we need to be efficient. So there's a focus also on that area. And we have some of our innovations later on today in terms of planting a bag that uses less water, also in terms of water efficiency. And then we also work with technologies around the WEF, water, food, energy nexus, in terms of energy generation, drought-resistant crops, as Dr. Sam yesterday was speaking to some of these innovations as well. And also looking at, it's not only technology that can solve all the problems, also I heard one of the speakers yesterday saying that we also here are part of it. We are guilty of using more water while we still are water scarce. And if I were to ask now how many of us took a 2-minute shower today, most of us may even be guilty. So we need to also address that behavioral aspect as well, and through training and stewardship programs as well, and sometimes encourage through regulation. And also, of course, monitoring as well in that area. And in terms of water quality, so Dr. Nonhlanhla yesterday touched on chemicals of imaging concern that we are also working around in terms of new methods and ways of detecting them, and also surveillance as well. And Prof. Zvimba yesterday also mentioned in terms of circular economy and trying to reuse as much as possible, so that then we try to not further pollute the water resources and even improve the water quality. And we are looking also in terms of wastewater treatment or sanitation, treatment of the treatment systems that are biological, physical, chemical, thermal processes as well, that tries to not further pollute the polluted resources or increase the state further of our resources. And as well as rehabilitation and restoration of some of the ecosystems through nature-based systems, mechanical systems, and also chemical systems. And also, of course, monitoring goes also with that. So the WRC, through its RD initially leg, noticed that actually some of the innovations don't get to the market, and they fail due to incomplete development. They are not ready for the market, or sometimes they are ready but the market is not ready, it has not been developed. And also sometimes innovators have not developed a value proposition that could so that they present their innovations to address a particular problem, and also business viability, and also attracting investment so that someone can invest into some of those innovations as well, and also partnerships and brokering partnerships. So hence, the Water Research Commission, through 2 key technology accelerator programs, intends to try to bridge the gap between RD and aiding the eye to RDI, so that then the research can now start impacting people on the ground, the communities on the ground, and reach them and address some of those challenges that I just mentioned now. So the WADA program at the Water Research Commission deals with more of water technologies, and the SAST deals with the sanitation technologies as well. So these are the 2 accelerator programs that basically tries to be a conduit of some of the innovations and getting them ready onto the market. So with that, we need to have an ecosystem of test bed partners whom we can test some of the technologies with, and then from there share with the stakeholders, like in such a session like this. So those two accelerator programs, basically we try to assess the readiness of the technology, and then identify some gaps and improvements, and then of course also help with the prototype development, and also we help in terms of market development and optimization, where now through policies, bylaws, and other studies that we do, then we open up for some of these innovations to start coming up in the market as well. And also sectoral support in terms of regulation, policy shifts, and engagements as well. And we do offer at some of this, for some of these technologies or innovations, what we call independent technical advisory, where now if there are some gaps that will be identified, we get someone to come and look at a particular technology to say if it really does what the innovator says it does, and get someone with an independent opinion to come and do that. So basically, it's just taking them through that innovations management process from prototype, tech packages, and also coming into the market. So let's just zoom into a quick overview of some of the work that has been done through these two tech accelerator programs. So basically, this is summary of the WADA program over the past 8 years or so. Started with 2 pilots, then to 9, and currently actually there's about almost 47 or around about 50 innovations that have been piloted through the program, and mostly with technology readiness level from 5 to 8, and around 43 million has been spent into these projects. And the program has worked with about 37 SMMEs, including some of them that are here today to present some of the innovations, as well as institutions of higher learning, about 9 institutions of higher learning. And I'm sure also Mpumalanga would be one of those. So some of the technologies within WADA includes alternative water sources. Groundwater is one of the sources due to limited surface water resources, so it's one of the options. And we looked at things like sand water extraction, which actually later on we'll hear more of a presentation on that. And there's an innovation called HydroBlue, which helps in terms of accuracy of drilling boreholes in terms of alternative water sources. Fog water harvesting as well. And there is this innovative EDC tanks. We'll play a video of that later on. Just shows how you can harvest rainwater as well to supplement water for other non-potable uses in the house. So the 3 pictures just shows you some of the innovation in the EDC tanks, as well as the sand water extraction pilot that we have had. And the last picture actually is just showing the HydroBlue. So in terms of water quality and water use at the household level for communities, in terms of rainwater harvesting, so we have this innovation called Villemans, which basically is a form of a filter, so that then the water that you would have harvested from rainwater, it still contains some solids which you can still just filter to using that, so that then you can use it for other fit for purpose like flushing, gardening, irrigation. And also the slide-on gutter technology, where now for every form of roofing that you have, you can just harvest rainwater, and especially if you have big coverage in terms of your house, in terms of your roofing, so you can just use some of these technologies to harvest rainwater. And also this grey water system actually that can be used for multiple use and use hands-free system, which basically you can just use it also for encouraging hygiene and use of grey water also reuse grey water also and encourage hygiene. And in terms of non-revenue, we try also to employ technology to do that. So there is this technology called AquaTrip. Basically, it's a valve that stops if it notices an unusual change in pressure. So automatically it shuts off because it will suspect that there's a leak somewhere actually. So, so it has been piloted And it's one of those innovations that can help in terms of water losses. And then digital twin, it's basically, look-see-do, basically it's remote assistant system, basically, which now you may not need an engineer always on site. You can just have the system with a technician on site, then they are guided in terms of how they should fix and or even address some of the challenges on site. So so that then you are able to address a problem even quicker, because sometimes the engineers may not have time to come to all the sites at the same time. Coming to sanitation now, so SAST is stand for South African Sanitation Technology Enterprise Program. So that is for more of sanitation technologies now. So you notice that actually the WADA portfolio covers more of the themes and the SAST covers more of the sanitation portfolio. So we, like I said yesterday, I mean, South Africa was not going to be able to achieve and provide full flush network-based systems for all communities due to the terrain, the settlement types, water scarcity, and even issues of economics and even challenges with regards to density as well. So through the SAST program, WRC is demonstrating various innovative sanitation technologies beyond the two-binary approach, which was a VIP or waterborne system in the past, so that then there's a pool of technologies that actually could be considered for different appropriateness under different circumstances or settlement types. So the portfolio has 16 innovations, which include 3 non-sewer sanitation systems, 1 nature-based system, 4 water resource efficient pedestals, and sludge beneficiation and management technologies, 2 grey water systems, as well as one menstrual PET incineration system called the SHE, as well as a liquid gold diamond reactor which converts urine to struvite, and also sometimes existing pit latrines due to smell. There's technologies that actually can try to address the smell. So there's one of those technologies chemicals that we have worked with that can try to address that. So just a bit of like a snapshot of the program. So like I said, 16 technologies are on the program, and through the program, there's been 6 technologies that are locally manufactured, because some of them have been licensed internationally as well. So, but some of them also are local technologies as well. So through the program, we're able to get 6 technologies to be locally manufactured, and also about 200 toilet seats installed in schools, which we are demonstrating, affecting about 5,000 learners in various provinces that we have demonstrations, and about 30 million has been spent in terms of encouraging local manufacture of some of these innovations as well. And we have striked partnerships with various key partners along the sanitation value chain, including national government, other parastatals, local government, academia, international partners, as well as the private sector and the community as well. Some of the success stories includes like what I alluded to yesterday to say we have demonstrations on the ground, which you can always visit at any time. Fortunately, we have one system here in the Mpumalanga, which you can go and visit, like I said yesterday. And then we have seen uptake of some of the system through CSI, and the CEO gave a good form of something that can be considered in terms of this to aggregate the CSI initiatives for such particular systems like this. We also do have informal and also rural setting demonstrations as well at those municipalities as well. And then recently, the WRC SAST program has been recognized at the World Water Congress in Toronto for its work that has been doing in terms of advancing sanitation. And coming back to WADA a bit, so some of the success stories with AB Farms has now been a fully developed business. Basically, AB Farms, they do hydroponics, which actually uses less water and even recycles water and uses less space to still achieve more with less. And it's one of those technologies that is under the agriculture, which actually the challenge of doing more with less, this technology can assist with such. The look-see-do that I showed earlier on has been adopted by Joburg Water in one of their wastewater treatment works. And the sand extraction has also been adopted by Amatola Water to assist in terms of like the water mix with one of their RO plant at Albany Coast. The Hydro Blue is also in the final stages in terms of requiring capital support and mass rollout. And in terms of sanitation, we've seen the Lou Africa water efficient toilet being used in the ECD centers, even in Soweto, and the Aromlu winning the Innovation Award in Africa. And we have the pit emptying VEC, which actually is the mobile honeysucker for areas where you cannot, it's difficult to access through a truck. We have seen that being actually sold in East Africa. We also do some form of skills development, because behind all these things, skill development is important as well. So one of the key programs within the Water Research Commission is Young Engineers Change Makers programs, which is an annual program actually attracting young people from the municipalities, which actually for a year get exposure to local, some of the demonstrations we are doing, but also international demonstrations, and also some boot camps to learn in terms of some of the innovations. And also we arrange some international experts actually to come and engage with some of them too, so that then we are able to address and build capacity within them for the future. So far, 14 municipalities have been impacted, and 16 female and 14 male candidates have been part of the program, and 93% has been black candidates. Now, the test bed partners, as I said earlier on, they're very important. So these are organizations that we work together with them to try to put up something to test it, and then from there. So they're very key and very important. So this usually includes municipalities, utilities, and universities, and all of them actually at various levels, which I will just go into now shortly. So the idea behind that was to profile technologies at different learning stages and different fields and different sites, at lab scale, outside the lab, in the field. And yeah, so we needed multiple, or we needed a variety of partners to test some of the innovations as well. And we wanted to consolidate the thematic focus area to solutions that could be suitable for different sites for particular demonstrations. And lastly, explore the model of governing, interlinking, and these different learning sites, and re-looking at practically and hybrid centers of competence, where now we can learn from each other. So, like I said, each one of these testbed partners may be at one of those levels where it can be an university at a bench scale. Level 2 can be level 1, that is level 1. Level 2 can be a facility that is interested in innovation but does not have a dedicated facility for testing. Level 3 will be water solutions testing facility or research lab with a dedicated space, but with a dedicated space available for piloting as well. Such as the UKZN has formed what you call the WASH Center, which is really doing well in terms of such. And also now the next level is where now there is staff dedicated only for doing the R&D and the piloting of those new technologies as well. And then the level 5 now, where there is the municipality or the entity has the capacity and the capability experience to test community service delivery-oriented solutions in the field, such as what we call the engineering field testing that has been established by the University of UKZN, as well as eThekwini municipalities and the private sector organizations involved. So this is just a footprint in terms of weight of some of the testbed partners in the country. We have 15 in Gauteng, 3 in Mpumalanga, and 12 in KZN, as well as 4 in the Western Cape. In terms of SAST, there's about 28 sites, which 5 in Gauteng, 2 in Limpopo, 1 Northwest, 6 KZN, 6 Eastern Cape, and 8 in the Western Cape. Mpumalanga is not featuring, but we are featuring in terms of the uptake. So you guys are already taking up, so you should feature in terms of uptake. All right, so this is just shows the status of some of those test bed partners in terms of, we have 11 active ones, potential ones where we are engaging 7, and then about 16 of them that are actively still running. And also this just shows you some of them. Some of them is the private sector partners, Sasol, Eskom, City of Tshwane, Green Cape, the list goes on. All right, we do also do tech advisory, as I said earlier on, where now various challenges that are facing these innovations, we try to address them, including technical, regulatory, market, business support, social development studies, governance as well. So we have a panel of experts that are able to address or help us to do a quick study to address some of the challenges or to identify policy gaps that should be looked at. And also independent technical assessment, where now we don't just believe what the innovator is saying, but someone independent comes and evaluates and gives an independent opinion of that particular technology. And also there's an opportunity for engagement with some of the experts as well. And then we do provide technical advisory note on some of the innovations and recommendations, like I said, if there are gaps in some of the innovations. So today's speech is actually, as I close, is just to show as Water Research Commission, one of the outcomes is we want to be innovation-driven sector. So based on some of the needs in the province, so one alternative water supply innovation will be presented, one storage innovation or solution will be also presented, and 2 smart water apps, as well as 1 smart agriculture approach or innovation, and lastly 1 sanitation systems for communal environment. All right, so you can engage with us. There are the contacts in terms of aiding to our test bed partnership if you are not already there, and see how we can work together to try to improve the sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the presentation, and I think it's very important that I highlight that this shows that WRC is an innovation-driven sector. So one of the things that I just took from his presentation, which is very important, is that we are looking at water use efficient technologies, which we need to strengthen our capabilities in the province. And also wastewater technologies, treatment technologies, is something that we have got challenges. We're talking about, even yesterday, I think the municipality, even DWS, raised those. So these are the takeaways just for the WRC to make sure that they look deep into these things that we really need support in the province. The other one is around skills development. I think we talked about it. I saw that program. I wanted to say how many of the skills development program did you also influence those from the Mpumalanga? So I think there's a gap. If you look at these key 3 things, we were just talking this morning with the provincial head to say, what are the takeaways? Just 3 only that we can allow WRC to look at next year in their plans to feature them, and so that we are able to implement, so that after we leave here, we should be able to say after that road show, these are some of the things that we managed to take home. I think lastly was one of the mine closure. So I think that's very important. And this was session 1. I'm not sure if we have got 1 or 2 questions to
We work with the innovators in terms of some of this. So some of the too technical questions, I'll leave them to the innovators, or we can always share contacts with the innovators. So we unfortunately we don't have sand water extract. I mean, what do you call EDC tanks here to come and explain in terms of like that as well. But I think we can liaise with them in terms of that to try to understand that and help you. And also with regards to the, unless one of my senior managers wants to comment, but also in terms of the leakage for the aqua trip. I'm not sure now what sizes as well, so, but I think it's something that we can also consult with and then give back you that information. Because even now it was just introducing what is there, not final details, so that there is some interest and then from there follow-up engagements and then in terms of the knowledge as well. Unless you want to add, yeah.
So let me respond on the aqua trip, okay, and give you a little context. All of us have a geyser in the house, okay, and I'm sure you experience a burst geyser at some point. Normally, geysers, when they burst, they don't warn you, and they keep leaking. And it takes a long time for you to understand when it's leaking. A burst, you kind of realize straight away because it's now damaging your property. Now that on-property losses is quite high. So what AquaTrip does is that it's a smart meter with a program that has a signature that if there is an unusual water pattern that is going in your house, it shuts it off completely. So if you have a burst, it will shut it off and it won't destroy your property because, and for the insurance industry and etc., it's a huge saving because, trying to remodel your house and roof and furniture and etc. Is a painful process. So AquaTrip was designed for that purposes. The second advantage of AquaTrip, it comes with a software, so it gives you real-time information on your consumption. So you could look at the program and calculate how much of water you use in a shower or a bath, because 70% of all the water in the house goes through the geyser. So this is a water efficient device that's also a water security device to manage on-property water losses, and it's one of many. This one works. You can buy it on Take a Lot or this thing. I would recommend putting it in, but a lot of insurance agencies are now requesting people to put this in, and they're reducing premiums as a mechanism. Then just to respond on the gutter systems, is that, the very conventional gutter systems are not designed with grey water management. So the flows are too high, okay, in the gutters. So at the end of a grey water a rainwater harvesting system, if the flows are too high, the water just gushes out. It's the pressure thing. So you need to have the appropriate gutters that allows kind of fluent collection of water. It's not at high flows that would fly out. So it's not just easy to just just put a grey water system, especially in more urbanized areas. The roof sizes are very, very big, as compared to a small house, etc. So those were some of the constraints. People don't like to put industrial size gutters on houses. It looks ugly. So there are now this new dynamic gutters that they have designed to suit with the rainwater harvesting system.
Right. Thank you very much for those contributions. I need us to move to second session. Let's clap hands for Philip for the first session. Thank you very much. So the next session, I'm just going to hand you over to Philip to run through with the demonstrations, right? You can invite the So I think what we'll do is that after every 3, we've got 6. So we'll do question and answer after 3 of them. Thanks.
All right, so as introduced, thanks, Dr. Tendai, we will do those 6 innovations now. One of them is a video. So we are starting with sand water extraction. So I'm going to call up on stage Stefan Pretorius, and then also as well as Nonhlanhla from CBSS. You can come up on stage, and then they will introduce themselves and even the technologies that they are going to be presenting. So Stefan Pretorius will be presenting in terms of sand water extraction. So, and then followed by a video. Then after that, CBSS, Nonhlanhla from CBSS will do the presentation on the Liguan and one of the apps that they have developed as well. So let's welcome Stephen to the stage.
How do I get to that one? It is yours. Yes. Just maybe. Maybe we must exit that one. It's not projecting now. There we go. Awesome. Morning, everybody. Firstly, thank you for the opportunity. Thanks, Philip, and a special thank you for WRC for all the support they've given us for all the processes and establishing the technology. Let me just put my 10-minute timer on for us. So what I'm going to present today is the SWE system, or standing for sand water extraction. And the main focus is to extracting untapped water resources. So firstly, I just want to go through, give a bit of background on sand rivers, what the advantage is, discuss the technology a bit, and then I've personalized this one more from Mpumalanga with regards to the possibilities, where we can look at for the technologies and where it can assist the province. So firstly, the advantages of sand-based rivers is your water that you extract is already filtered by the sand. So you've got a natural filtration, and so you've got minimal bacteria and contaminants within your water. Your sand acts as a dam. So even during drought periods, you don't have water on your surface, your sand is still full of water. Your water is also then protected against evaporation in the sand. But what's very important to note is sand water is not groundwater. It is not linked to your groundwater table directly. So your water is going to be around, let's say, starting at 30 centimeters depth, where your groundwater might be at 60 meters depth. So it's a separate, it's not groundwater. So you can work it out, the estimate of your sand volume, around 30% of your sand can store water. But the main challenge has always been to efficiently extract that water from the sand. So that's where the technology comes in. If you look at the design of the system, it creates a suction force within the sand. So it sucks the water from the sand up to 10 times faster than what your natural infiltration rate in your sand is. The system is fully concealed, so everything is under the sand. So even during floods, it continues to supply water. It is quick and easy to install. And what's very important for us, it is automated and easy to use. The moment you make something too complicated, it becomes a white elephant. So a basic diagram of the system. It is installed vertically. We only extract at the bottom section of the unit, and because your cleanest water is also there, and you've got longer water supply during that period, and that water is sucked out and it's pumped to the surface. Now, the needs that we address is firstly, if you have a remote village without access to water supply, a water treatment plant overstressed by poor water quality, emerging farmers lacking access to water, or game reserves that need water for animals and or accommodation areas. In this presentation, we're going to focus on the first two. So firstly, looking at Mpumalanga and the sand rivers. Now, in Mpumalanga, the sand rivers are mainly focused in the area to the east of Mbombela and up north past Bushbuck Ridge. This is not to say that's the only areas. Those are the main areas. There are a lot of other sand river options. Each municipality will know better what is in their area. But the examples we're going to use mainly focus in this area. So looking at village supply, I'm going to give examples of projects we did in Limpopo. So what we did when we got there, this is the situation of the villages. They had to dig for water, and that was the only clean water that they have, drinkable water. The boreholes were struggling to supply water. They could get water once every 4 weeks, and that was a very saline-based water. When we started the installation of the technology, during that installation phase, within the first week of getting to site, we started supplying water to the community, that clean water coming from the sand. We pumped on average 60,000 liters a day for communities coming to fetch water. So it was an immediate effect on the community. After completion, this is a good example of what a village system includes. You've got your sand river at the back. There you'll see that river only runs a few times in a 2-month period throughout the year. The rest of the time, there's no surface water there. Your site, you've got your raw water storage. Your extraction units is in the sand. You've got your raw water storage, your purification, then your clean water storage. The large tank is a 350,000 liter storage tank. From there, it's connected directly to the existing reticulation network of the village. Another example is a 300,000 liter a day capacity. What's important about this image, this site is 4 years old in this image. Now, if you look at the quality and everything of the site, the community is looking after that site. They are working on their own site. They're planting trees, they're planting fruits and vegetables, grass in the site. So they're really looking after it because they can see the value of their system. So to date, those systems have supplied over 200 million liters of water, purified water to the communities. A system can be completed between 3 and 4 months, and it can be managed, if required, by the community members themselves. Now, examples of Mpumalanga village supply. Now, if you look at Bushbuck Ridge, there's an aptly named, luckily, sand river running through the villages in that area. Now, if you go and look at the sand river and the river itself, what we see there is a massive, massive water source that can supply a lot of these villages with their own water supply. So that's, anytime you see, for us, we see an image like that, we see good quality drinking water. I just want to use this as an example. No history about the project, it's just a project that I saw, but I think it's a good example of possibilities. Now, Dumfries B development. Now, if any such type of development wants to be done and there's a water shortage, instead of putting additional stress on your existing treatment plants, this one requires around 600,000 to 800,000 liters a day. Now, the Sand River next to Dumfries is excellent for water supply. If you look at that water level is very difficult to abstract, but the water is in the sand. So it's available for a development like that. Examples of villages next to the Sabi River, to the east of Hazy View, that's the Sabi River. For us, massive water source. The Nsakazi River, if you look at Lupisi, Matsulu, the villages running next to the Nsakazi, again, a very good water source. We are talking to guys that are looking at developing in Nkosi City. this river is an excellent water source for Nkosi City. Now, touching on the second point, municipal water supply. This is mainly raw water supply, because what we do is we supply to existing water treatment plants, and from there on it's treated by the municipality itself. An example is a project that we're doing in KZN. The first phase is a 5 megaliter per day abstraction. They're looking at the 3-phase approach, up to a total of 15 megaliters a day. Just quickly, if you look at the river, they are struggling to abstract that water because it's very shallow. So they can't supply sufficient water to the communities. Now, looking at the two bottles there, the water on the left is from the sand, the water on the right is from the surface. The turbidity of that water, the sand water is less than 1 NTU. We were running below 0.6 NTU of water being supplied to the plant, where your surface water is over 25 NTU. Now, the impact of that, if you look at the plant, we do not use the clarifiers or the filters. We go straight into the clear water tank. From the clear water tank, chemicals are added and it is supplied directly to the communities. Now, the impact of this again is you've got increased plant throughput, reduced treatment cost, improved water security, and if you need to do expansions, you can reduce the cost of your expansions because your incoming water is significantly cleaner. Municipal supply potential, 2 areas of examples is next to the Crocodile River. You've got your Malalaan, Hector Spruit, Komati Poort. We've done extraction tests at Malalaan to see the water delivery potential, which we found was very good. And then also at the Selby River, you've got Hazy View as an example. And I made my 10 minutes, and that's, yeah, thank you. That is a summary of what the sand water system does.
Thank you, Stefan. As he was presenting, I felt like I have been also extracting sand because I'm one of those community members who once dug some of those things to get fresh water. So some of us have done it. Okay, so next we are going to play a video of one of the solutions in terms of EDC tanks, in terms of harvesting rainwater. So you can play the video. Thank you. All right, so now we move on in terms of the next presenter. So let's welcome Nonhlanhla from CBSS to present on one of the smart water apps they do have.
Oh, it's showing now. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nonhlanhla. I come from CBSS. And before I start with my presentation, I would like to thank the WRC for the opportunity to be here. And I'm presenting on behalf of CBSS Current Bosman. So I'm here to talk about our two innovations, which is Legal One, software as a service, and our Water Monster app. So these two innovations are aimed to digitize and visualize water monitoring data, leading to improved interpretation and decision-making for better water governance. So what we do at Visual Water Solutions is we deliver solutions of outstanding quality that meet the needs and expectations of our clients throughout Southern Africa, and we also help them to take sustainable decisions in water and environmental government and management. Okay, so we are actually driven by three core values, which is fair and just environmental decision-making, scientific integrity, and knowledge transfer and collaboration, because we believe that we need to collaborate with our stakeholders in order to make better decisions for our water and environmental management. So why do we actually take water samples? We do this to make sure that, because it's required by authorities and our clients, and it's also to determine impacts and activities on the water resource. So what is the problem that we identify? We realize that we are very data rich, yet knowledge poor, because different organizations, they collect large amount of water monitoring data, and then they actually do not know how to utilize the data or to interpret it properly. So another issue is insufficient decision-making without proper analysis, and all of these, they lead to wasted time and money, legal liabilities, and loss of trust from authorities and stakeholders. So to introduce our solutions, we have Legal One service, software as a service, and we have our Water Monster. So what Legal One does is we convert your water monitoring data into interactive graphs. And the graphs, we make them available online on an HTML format, and they're very interactive, and this means that your water monitoring data becomes a valuable business and water resource management tool. And our Water Monster app, it enables digital capturing of your data, including electronic conductivity, water conditions, and it actually captures the location of where you did those samples. So we actually help you convert your Excel data into a more interactive graphs and reports. So this is an example of our graphs that we do with Legal One. And please do come to our store so that I show you how interactive they are. So the benefits of Legal One is it simplifies data interpretation, it's real-time data accessibility, cost and time efficiency, and it's improved compliance and governance. So these are our packages that we have, and they're also available on our website. I can also show you when you come to our store. So they range from the basic plan to a water guide plan from 50 Rand to 200 Rand. So this is just a tour to our water monitoring, to our Water Monster app. So it's basically a digitized field data collection form that gives you your results immediately when you get to the office. So the benefits of the Water Monster, it's digital field data capture, geological and photographic records, instant data availability, and user-friendly interface. These are also the prices of the packages that we have, and we also tailor them according to your needs. So with the support that we got from WADA and the WRC, we were able to conduct a comprehensive business model analysis, which developed, and we also developed strategic plan that revealed a significant growth potential. And this was conducted by Bosch Capital. So our goals are actually to increase clients' adoption, to get about 10 clients for both our Liga One and Water Monster, to expand app availability, to have it available on iPhone app, and then user engagement and training, and also to create employment opportunities. So our plans moving forward, we want to refine our Water Monster app. We want to focus on the marketing and sales, legal compliance, our intellectual property to make sure that we get our innovation patented, and lastly is technical team and operation support. So the assistance that we need is actually partnership with local municipalities, access to network and market connections, technical and products development support, and marketing and PR support. So in terms of our competitors, we have identified 3 competitors, which is the Aqua, Affirm, Aquatic, and the Xylem. And our value proposition or competitive edge is the fact that our products are custom built for local conditions. They are user-friendly, no need for expertise. They're also cost-efficient. So these are our valued clients, which is Sept, the City of Cape Town, and Cape Nature. These are our accolades. Karen Bosman just won the prestigious Visa Senior Fellow Award at 2024. We also won the Impact Award last year for the Geo for Good, and we were part of the top 10, the EWCTA, the Water Awards in 2022. So this is the team. Karen Bosman is the founder and director. She's an environmental and water chemistry specialist with more than 30 years experience in the water sector. Me as a research assistant and innovator, and Mickey EF as a digital solution specialist. So our call for action is if you want to collaborate into making, to turn water monitoring data into accessible visual knowledge and wisdom using tools of the 4th Industrial Revolution. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that great presentations, and I think we can give another round of applause for all the presenters. They were on time. So it's time for us to engage with them, ask a few questions of clarity directly to them as they are here. And can we, okay, I see one hand here, another hand here.
Yeah, it's fine now. Thank you very much. We welcome the presentations on the technologies. Just one quick question on the Sun River extraction. I think you did mention, I'm not sure in the initial slides where you said this is not groundwater extraction. I'm not sure how possible is that. How deep do you go about extracting? Because that also depends on your aquifer for that level of groundwater in that place. And also, is it surface water? Because I've seen you've mostly extracting on the river banks where there is flow, and how does that affect the flow in your river? You know, in your river you still have to maintain your MAR and so forth, and the more you extract, its sustainability, the more you extract, how does it affect your flows in the river? I'm not sure if your study did go to that extent, because I'm interested in seeing that. And when you are maybe during the times of drought, has the study gone to that extent where you look when you have drought, when there's nothing flowing into the river, how long can it sustain you? And what is the highest flow that you can extract without affecting any flows in the river in the first part. And the second part is on the video, though it was a video, we didn't see, it was not presented, but looking at that innovation that you have brought into the space and where it can be applicable, any communications that you had probably with the Department of Human Settlement, because when you look at them, they will come into a space and probably do 500 houses, 1,000 houses, and that can be incorporated into their designs so that when the construction comes, they are built-in systems rather than you come at the end and you have to purchase it. And with the rural villages, I think the best place where it can be applied and we can see its functionality is when you look at your RDP houses and so forth and your integrated human settlement houses, how it can be applied there. Thank you very much.
Dr. Harrison had a question.
Thank you, Chairperson. My question again also is with regards to the sand water extraction system. We do have, just to the developer, I'm sure you're probably aware of this whole notion of ecological water requirements for the country. And that you have to maintain your ecological sustainability baseline, which is important. So I see the value of your product and your efforts gone in there. What one just needs to consider is that perhaps it should be applied or considered in an emergency situations. And I'm not talking about those emergency situations that we design ourselves or create ourselves. You know what it means. But also then the question around or the notion of emergency, it would be in cases of drought, how do you respond? But maybe in this case, emergency more where there's probably no access in terms of drinking water supply to communities. So those are just things that you need to consider. I understand the notion behind the technology development, but just be mindful of these issues. And then, of course, looking at your system when you design it, construct it, and put it up there, the issue that Ma'am Dudu probably also wanted to raise was, in terms of the rate of abstraction, what are the implications from a water use licensing perspective? And I know those will probably be in small communities, yeah. But just some considerations that you need to consider. Thanks.
Okay, one last more question and then we'll give them a chance to respond.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. My question is directed to Nonhlanhla. I'm interested in the apps that you've developed. And my question maybe to ask if you are familiar with the ZNet kind of...
We're
yes.
just struggling to hear them on that mic. The mic is not very clear.
Maybe, do you have another one? Or maybe I can shout. Eh?
Maybe
Is that better?
Closer.
Yeah, okay, my question is directed to Nonhlanhla. I'm interested in the apps. I would like to know if you are familiar with the ZNet system. They display or maybe publish near real-time data on the internet. And I would like to know if your apps can do something similar to that. Say you have your data collected from the source, maybe transmitted through GSM to some server somewhere, and then using the app, then one can be able to view the data and maybe do some small manipulation here and there. Thank you.
All right, we'll give the innovators a chance to respond. So, Gerard, yeah, Stefan, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you for those questions. Very, very good questions. If we talk about the difference between your sand water, let's call it your river sand, versus your groundwater, well, I say we need to make that separation. One is, let's start with water quality. Difference between your groundwater, if we look at tests that we've done in Lepalala area, the groundwater that they have, if you look at the communities there, the test that DWS did, more than 70% of the groundwater sources that they get water from are level 3, level 4 water quality. So it's very poor water. Right next to them is the Sand River, which is basically a rainwater because there's no contamination upstream. So I think that's a very important aspect to keep in mind. You don't have that soil contamination that you get in your river water. Secondly, if you look at the depth of your water, most places, as say, we go between 3 and 5 meters deep. That's how deep we abstract. We don't go deeper than that. Where if you drill right next to the river, you can go 100 meters and not find any water. So again, a bit different. Now, if I can use this example, just to why we talk a lot about its surface water. If you take a river, take the Crocodile River, from Mpumalanga down to the Kruger, there's a very big drop in elevation. So what happens is a fast-flowing river takes the sand with it, and it deposits it where it's flowing slower again. So you will check the Malalaan area, where the Nsikazi comes in, all of that's a lot of sand there. So here, the water's flowing on top of rocks. There, it's flowing through sand. So it's the same water, but the material that it's flowing down there is just a bit different. So that's why we refer to as a surface water. It's just because it is now moving through a medium that is sand instead of on top of a rock. Now, if you look at your abstraction and impact of that, you need to do your EIAs. All of that is part of the whole process. But what we also do is, for example, the project in KZN, the plant has an allocated abstraction volume that it can do per day. We stick within that allocation. So the water that we take out is basically already what they've got allocated. We do not go over or above. If we go over the allocation, then it triggers the water use license and all of those type of things. So we need to make sure that you don't over-abstract and impact the communities at the bottom, but that comes all with your water use and your EIAs. Very true what you mentioned with regards to your emergencies. Now, that's one of the reasons why the design is so that we can finish within 3 to 4 months, and also within the first week of being on site, starting to supply water. Because a community that's, if you're responding to emergency, they need that water now, not in 4 months or a year. And that's why the whole process that we do is to try to have as quick as possible impact to the communities in need.
Actually, to answer your question, we have a qualified water chemistry, water expert that is working on.
Sorry, this side because of the feedback on the speakers.
Okay, so to reply your question, the SAC and APC system is manipulatable by anyone which compromise the data integrity. So our Legal One system and Water Monster app is available online, and anyone with the link can access it and zoom in. But the data is manipulation. But data manipulation, like when you're removing the example outliners, done by our qualified water expert, and only where necessary, properly scientifically motivated. So I don't know if that one answered your question. Yeah, so that I explained properly. Thank you.
All right. I see there's a burning question Or you want to respond on it? I saw your hand. Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's a question first.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. It's about the this water extraction from the sand. I think the second part of the question that was asked by the previous speaker was about the sustainability of this, because this gives me an impression that the water you are trying to extract is just a patched storage, is a limited storage of some sort. And she had asked, to what extent is it sustainable? And can you give us some indication? If it is a patched storage, you are not extracting the water from the river. This is not groundwater either, meaning this is like a relatively temporal storage of some sort. That's my impression.
Thank you for that reminder of not answering that question. If you look at your capacity for supply, if you've got, you firstly go to the characteristics of your river. Is it a perennial river? How many times do you get recharge? Because now, if I abstract on this point in the river, I can go and, I am chasing myself now. If I look at the volume from my abstraction point of volume of sand, upstream, that is my storage, because remember your water in the sand flows the same as your surface water. Let's say there's no surface water. It is still flowing downstream. So the volume you've got is from your abstraction point, 30% of the sand volume upstream. So you can do a rough calculation if you know your sand volume. Now, that volume is then also dependent on your recharge. A perennial river, the KZN River as example, is a perennial river. There's very little surface flow, but that surface flow is continuously recharging your sand. If that surface flow stops, then you've still got small streams somewhere that's filling your water. It might flow downstream within the sand. An example is the Olifants River in the Western Cape. The water comes from the Cederberg Mountains. They flow all the way through to the Clan William Dam, basically in the sand. You can't see the surface water, but if you dig this deep, you find the water. So each river that we look at, we do an investigation to see what is the sustainability of that water source. The examples in Limpopo, those villages, that river basically never flows. That's one of the reasons why we piloted the projects in that situation, because one of the most difficult situations to do something on. So I want to summarize in this way. One, you can have a system that supplies 12 months of the year, perfect water supply. The other one is a system that, let's say, for example, supplies 9 of your 12 months of the year. But what happens if in that last 3 months, you've got your boreholes in the area that have been rested for 9 months, and they buffer that next period. If you take out the sand water supply, you take those boreholes and you put them on 12 months full load, and usually they don't last or they collapse. So the one side is it augments the need, the other side can be a full supply.
All right, thank you. If there's further engagements, please, they're still around, we can engage them when time permits. So now, in the interest of time, I think we should move on to the next innovators. So let's clap hands for Stefan and Nhlanhla for this first session. And with regards to the EDC, I know it has been installed in RDP houses. It's just to engage further with DHS in terms of making it a standard to their specifications and designs to adopt that system. So at this point in time, I'm just going to do the last 3 of innovations to come and do their 10-minute presentations. So let's welcome Dr. Araya from ARC, and as well as Tapelo from Envirolu, and Paseka from Water Hygiene and Convenience to do their last portion of their presentations, and then from there we'll do one last round of questions, and then I'll hand over back to the program chair. So, Pasika, you can go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sensa Araya from the Agricultural Research Council. Today, or this morning, I'm going to share with you that an innovation that was supported or funded by Water Research Commission, and it's an innovation that was involves a number of teams from the ARC and, of course, also from the Water Research Commission. As it was presented yesterday, our crop production or food security is facing a lot of challenges. Like for instance, it's becoming a major challenge to produce crop or vegetables under conventional system. Why? Because of the challenges we face every day, the effect of climate change, and then over-exploitation of our soil, and which hampers with the soil health and affect the biological activity, and of course also our resources. We are over-exploiting the limited water resources we have, and with that, with all this conventional system, is hampering also with the natural enemies when we spray pests, herbicides, and so on and so on. All this is affecting crop production, and parallel to that, food security and nutrition security in our community. So this is what this was the base of the innovation. We said that together with the WRC or through the support of the WRC, what is the simplest way of combating food and nutrition security in our community? Is there a possibility of becoming a little bit more innovative so that we can introduce a simple technology that can reach the end user, as it was presented yesterday, as was mentioned yesterday. So, which one of the innovations we found out that it might be easier for anyone to adopt is the bag system. Simple technology, it doesn't need a lot of high techs, which anyone can implement as long as you have a small piece of open area. It could be a pavement, it could be even next to in a parking area, or it could be any way it can be implemented. So what we use here is that as a growing media is usually we use sawdust and then incorporate it with compost or soluble fertilizer so that it can be able to support the growth of the crops. Now, as you can see that this beautiful bag system, which is also presented at our ARC stall day, please visit and interact with the team who is involved in this, actively involved in this project. Then, as I mentioned earlier, that this is a simple technology which can be placed, the bags can be placed anywhere, whether it is in a concrete slab or anywhere where there is open space. Now, as researchers, you know how much we love our data to test that. What if what we're saying, rolling out to the community, does it make sense first before we roll it out? So what we did is that we conducted a simple research to compare the production of the bag system and an open field, and to see that if we use the same unity area, how many bags can one produce, how many bags can one place, and then how much production can one get, and then what resources can one use, the amount of water utilized, is it really efficient, and so on and so on. So these are the few results which we found. As you can see that the bag system produces more biomass per unity area as compared to the conventional or open field. Now, when it comes to the water use, also the same pattern that you save more water with the bag system than with the open field. Because remember, we have got less loss of water, like through runoff, percolation, drainage, and so on, which also minimizes the impact which our conventional production, agricultural production, or crop production is creating into the environment. So then with the water efficiency also the same pattern, that water use efficiency was much more higher with the bag system as compared to the conventional vegetable production system. Now, to roll this technology, what we did is that we identified a site through the support of Water Research Commission, an area which is in Guyana. I don't know if some of us might be familiar. It's an area that is hampered by drought and water scarcity like the rest of the country or the rest of the continent. As you can see, that farmers struggle every day to produce the food we eat every day, all of us. There's a major challenge when it comes to producing a crop using rain-fed, under rain-fed condition. And you can see that the community, how much they struggle for water to use for cooking, for daily life. This is the kind of activity they go through every day, all of us. So based on that, we identified the site, identified certain co-ops, community members, schools, and so on and so on. So then just a few of the success stories, if I could share with you. These are the co-ops or communities that are involved in the project. They are producing vegetables, as you can see, from sweet chard, beetroots, carrots, onions, and so on and so on. For not only for them to consume, but also take it to the market. As you can see that this is, I don't know if you see my, yes. In that, Mr. Tawoke, he's proudly sharing with us that they produce of beetroot and sweet chard. And what's the other interesting part of this project is that it's a project that involves the community. It's a very participatory project, which the community, they fill up the bags, they participate in planting, maintaining the vegetables, and of course also irrigating them every day, putting the fertilizer, and so on and so on. So, so far, the project is implemented successfully. There are minor challenges we face, like any other innovation, but they are not to the extent that, for instance, if one uses a wrong grow medium, that might create a root bounding, it might affect the production. And of course, also, the bags we use the polypropylene bag that integrates with time. For instance, if one uses it for crop production for one cycle, which one makes about, let's say, if I use sweet chard, I can be able to have 4 harvests. But then after the 4 harvests, the bags start disintegrating, which is good when it comes to, if I see it from the angle of the grow media, before I use it for another cycle, has to be disinfected. There might be unfriendly pathogens there, which the farmers, what they are doing is that they spread the grow media on the open field and allow it to solarize, use the radiation of the sun to kill the unfriendly pathogens, which is so far is not that much creating that much challenge. Now, this is the info tool that's developed by the project. As you can see, that it's a simple one-pager info tool. if you visit our ARC stall, is there. And then please try to interact with the team and then try to take this info tune. And of course, also let's try to combat food and nutrition security in our community. Because the moment we start implementing this simple innovation, of course, our neighbor will see and start adopting it. That's how we combat food and nutrition in our community. And what we have done is that, because remember, if it's written only in English, we might not get a lot of buy-in from the community. So what we have done is that we try to translate it into different languages. For instance, in Guyana, we translated it into Tsonga, which the community is adopting it happily. And with that, I would like to acknowledge the teams who are involved in this project, and WRC, led by my colleague, Dr. Sam and Zanele, and the whole WRC team for allowing us to be innovative and funding our innovation. And of course, also the ARC team for working hard, traveling from Pretoria every day to Guyana is not easy. So I would like to also acknowledge the ARC team and of course also the department. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Araya, for that wonderful presentation. And at this point in time, I also want to acknowledge the presence of our CEO in our midst and also continue with the program. And as he was presenting, I was like, those of us in the cities, we can use such things in our house, harvest the gray water from the rain and water it, if you are worried about the bill as well. Yeah, so I will adopt. So let's be the first adopters, those of us who are here. Okay, so let's welcome now Pasika from WHC to come and present their innovation in terms of DQ Aqua.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership among us, all protocols observed. My name is Pasika Solang. I would like to take the opportunity to appreciate this humbling honor that the WRC has given us. Without further ado, I'd like to also inform you that my main focus will be on the Digi Aqua solution. However, we as a company have other solutions. I'll just touch on two others based on the presentations I heard yesterday, just to show that there are solutions out there to address some of these critical issues we have as a country. WHC is a water efficiency management company. Our main purpose is to serve humanity better by contributing to the water management industry, by creating these cost-efficient technologies that can be adopted and can create sustainable impact throughout the country and beyond the borders of our country. Now, the main problem that we're addressing with Digi Aqua is this particular pain. A lot of time lapses when there is a leak and we're looking for somebody to fix this leak or a water-related problem. So most homeowners and municipalities are definitely losing money due to this problem. So Digi Aqua is a mobile application and a web application that you can access. It's like the Uber for plumbers. So we basically avail certified and vetted plumbers closest to you for you to then access them as and when you have a problem. So what you would do is you would take pictures or videos and upload them onto the system, and then vetted certified plumbers will submit codes to you. Based on your criteria, you will select which one works best for you. So this is a viable solution that we have managed to pilot through the past 6 months, thanks to WRC. We have what we call a private user case and a public user case. A public user case is when we involve the municipality. So how this happens is that the citizens would then report related public infrastructure that is either damaged or there is a leak with the meters and so forth. And that too would be uploaded onto the system. it would have a GPS coordinate to it, so we would be able to identify where in particular this problem is. Now, another thing that we have as a problem within the municipalities is that whenever resources are deployed to go fix these challenges, at times insufficient material is procured, or the team is missing a more relevant team member to engage with a particular problem. So what we would do in this instance is we would send out a drone that would analyze the situation prior to the resources being deployed. And based on that footage, we'd be able to assess, and the municipality can make a more credible decision on who to send and which materials would be required. From a homeowner perspective, we would install IoT devices, so smart water meters, which would then speak to this application, which identifies leaks, especially overnight, because most leaks are only identified when the problem has escalated. So with this identification, both the municipality and the homeowner will be informed of the situation, and the homeowner will be encouraged to take action immediately by deploying one of the vetted certified plumbers closest to them. So through this initiative, the municipality can then have direct communication with the stakeholders and specific impacted people within the community. What we're experiencing now is that whenever there's a problem, we are from Gauteng, we would hear about a problem in Soweto, but we are based in Pretoria because it's on social media and it's on radio and so forth. So there's a lot of budget that is used to spray and pray that everybody hears, but the problem is affecting a few people. So with DigiAqua, you can speak directly to the constituents that are affected by this problem. So this is the innovation from a public user case. There are various value propositions that we offer the various stakeholders that are involved in DigiAqua. We have homeowners, plumbers, retailers, insurance companies, and municipalities, all of which have particular value that they can derive from our application. I'd like to emphasize municipalities because we have a large non-revenue water account that's growing as a country. So this is one of the initiatives that can assist to reduce the non-revenue water that we're experiencing. We also have another feature within the app which we call gamification. So the more the homeowner or the residents interact to resolve the solution, the more points they get to reduce their own water bills. And mind you, this is a win-win situation. They will be encouraged to pay the water bills when they know how accurate it has been measured. Thanks to WRC and the WADA program, we have been able to validate our assumptions. We have created an MVP, a minimal viable product, just to connect plumbers to homeowners to make sure that what we are servicing is worthwhile servicing. And our objectives to this extent was to ensure that we can test the assumptions, we can generate sufficient data, and we can also see how we can improve the water efficiency by the turnaround time and the performance of the plumbers. And most importantly, we also wanted to validate if there's a need to develop the public user case. Needless to say, this was a success. We have managed to make over 400 interactions with plumbers and homeowners before, during, and after the pilot. We have also managed to get a lot of interaction from how best to improve the solution to make it more relevant. And one of our best case scenarios, we've managed to save just over 80% of the water that was lost due to our intervention. So through this initiative, we also got homeowners explaining that had I been able to report my leaking meter, probably it would have been resolved. It would have been resolved by now. You can imagine some of the times whenever a municipality gets a report of a leaking meter, it takes anything between, and I don't want to offend any municipality, let me rather retract. I'll leave it at that. It takes time. I'll leave it at that. Needless to say, we have a lot of lessons learned and a lot of recommendations to that extent. So we are currently working on these lessons and recommendations to improve our our technology. So moving forward, we are looking forward to a more robust solution that will cater for both the private and the public sector. This initiative would not have been possible had it not been for our key strategic stakeholders. Gratitude to WRC for making it happen. Everything was an assumption until WRC came to the party with financial support that helped us to get on the ground and perform this particular pilot. I can obviously double click on each and every stakeholder that we are working with and how they are contributing towards our solution. As I had mentioned, yesterday while being part of the crowd, I heard a lot about other problems that are being faced. So I thought I should bring it to your attention two of the other solutions we are offering. For those who are not aware, toilets are the single largest water consumer in the house. And according to Rand Water, toilets inevitably leak. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when they leak, they waste over 250,000 liters of water per year. That is like 2,500 bathtubs. So we have a solution which we call the leakless valve. If you take the opportunity to come to our stand, I will demonstrate the leakless valve. It is basically a retrofittable device that controls the water flow, identifies leaks, and stops the water from flowing in the instance of a leak. It can save over 80% of the water that is currently being lost. Massmart was so impressed with our technology, they decided to pilot it before they offer it to the various clients in the Massmart group. So we conducted a pilot for them at the Jumbo store in Polokwane. We installed 21 units. From those 21 units, we managed to save them over 84% of the water that they were losing. Now, to put it in monetary terms, that is like 3,000 rand per toilet per year. The payback period was within 3 months. Now, mind you, those 21 toilets per year can save over 2 million liters of water and 63,000 rand. So you can imagine, Massmart has over 400 stores nationwide. So the impact that can be created through this is massive. To this extent, we already have an SLA with Massmart to install accordingly prior to them offering it to the public through one of their outlets. We were also required by City of Tshwane to conduct a pilot. With this pilot, we managed to train 20 youth women and men to be certified plumbers. We also created jobs for them by teaching them how to assemble the leakless valve and install it throughout the community. We installed 865 units, and to date, we've managed to save over 90 million liters of water. I kid you not, we then got a project awarded by Nkangala District Municipality, bringing it closer to home here in Mpumalanga. The objective of the project was to train over 200 youth, women, men, and the disabled to be certified plumbers and also how to assemble our technology. We are the exclusive manufacturer. We are the patent holders in 40 countries of this technology. So we would manufacture the components and set up an assembly plant here in Mpumalanga. And then 100,000 units would be installed in the local communities or local municipalities. The objective there was to then save over 3,000 megaliters of water and save over 20 million rand, approximately, per year through this intervention. This project would have paid for itself. Unfortunately, we had some hiccups, to say the least, within the local municipalities. And I plead with you, leadership of Mpumalanga, to assist us to resuscitate this project, because the intention is still there, the resources are still there. All we need is the cooperation of the local municipalities. This being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you about the last but not least. There was a lot of talk about vandalism of water infrastructure. Now, I'd like to tell you we have a vandal-proof technology, all right? This technology is an underground chamber. This underground chamber is designed to protect all water-related infrastructure and critical infrastructure. We are talking about your TRUs, your valves, your monitoring points, and transformers. We are currently piloting this technology with Rand Water in Gauteng, to say the least. This technology is made out of a reflexive material, which means that any impact that is made, let's say a hammer, is thrown onto this particular product, it bounces back. It has a variety of sensors, heat sensors, pressure sensors, humidity sensors, and vibration sensors. So whichever interaction is made from a vandalism attempt, it triggers an armed response, and therefore the culprits can be dealt with. Needless to say, this particular technology has a lifespan of 40 years, and it also has controlled accessibility. We are using a Bluetooth key, which means that only technical people that are authorized to access these chambers will authorize it or will be authorized to access them as and when the schedule pertains. Should they try any other time frame, the key will not work. This being said, the same technology allows them to then access the technology, and the critical infrastructure comes above the surface, and they operate from an eye level. Once they're done, it goes beneath the surface, and it's protected wholeheartedly. Ladies and gentlemen, I started this company in my grandmother's garage in 2007. Today, we are a multinational award-winning company. We don't do this for the fame or for the publicity. We do this because it has to be done. The decisions we make today affect those that we do not know of tomorrow. It is not what Mpumalanga can do for us. It's what we can do for Mpumalanga. Ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you for that great presentation. We need such solutions, especially on water efficiency, to also there in Gauteng, where some of us come from, because there is a looming water crisis and a day zero if such are not technologies that are being adopted. So last but not least, let's welcome Thapelo from Envirolu to present a non-sewer sanitation system, and after that we'll go into a Q&A session.
Program Director, thank you so much. Allow me to say all protocol observed. As I've already been introduced, my name is Thapelo. My surname is Makwela. I'm not alone. I'm with my colleague, Kagiso Matibe. He's right there by the stand. I would like to take this opportunity and show gratitude or convey gratitude to WRC for having given us this opportunity to basically come and showcase our products as well as our value proposition and services. So without wasting any much time, at Enviro Options, we also, like you, in that we know that water is a very scarce resource, and therefore, thank you so much. So at Enviro Options, we like you in that we know that water is a very scarce resource, and therefore we need to basically take care of this resource. Now, in our case, we basically make use of water efficient solutions, sanitation solutions, or non-sewer sanitation solutions to basically save this precious water resource. We are the company that has got 30 years of experience, so I'm confident that we have paid school fees in basically what we are doing. So just to give you a little bit of a background with regards to the Envirolu Clear non-sewer sanitation solution, which is the product that I'll be presenting on is that the environmentally clear non-sewage sanitation solution is as the outcome or an outcome of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Reinvent the Toilet Challenge. So through WRC as well as SAST, we were then requested to evaluate this sanitation solution to see if it's best suited to be implemented in African conditions or in the African countries. And I must say that we have implemented a couple of pilot projects in different provinces through WRC and SAST, and those projects were well accepted, and they were well accepted by the South Africans in different provinces, in different communities, more so in that our value proposition it does not only speak to addressing sanitation alone, but also to address local economic element in the community that we operate, in that we basically create jobs as well as engage in the community. And the reason why we engage the community is because we want to raise awareness of the services and products that they're going to be getting, but also to ensure that they take part or they participate in the decision-making of the product and services that they're going to take. And through that, we've seen communities developing, interest in the services and products that we have implemented in the communities. And also, through that, we have achieved ownership, and we know that with ownership comes sustainability, because we want to implement the projects that are going to be there for the next generation. So as I've indicated, there were a few projects that we've done with WRC, but I must also, share the good story in the Mpumalanga, in that last year in February 2023, we have commissioned the first commercial project that was funded by Bitvest. And as Philip indicated yesterday, this project is in the Dachakral in the Dr. Pixley local municipality. And that project is still running perfectly as we speak. And through this kind of projects, we have achieved or received projects through Department of Basic Education in the KZN as well as Eastern Cape, wherein we have implemented 22 units shared between the two provinces, including Limpopo as well. So, the market is looking good, and we've got good products and services that will address the sanitation issues that are in the ground. So if I were to explain or describe this product in 3 bullet points, the environmentally clear non-sewage sanitation solution, it's completely off-grid non-sewage sanitation solution, in which case it basically uses natural biological processes to basically treat wastewater on site. And once we treated that water, we then disinfect it by ozone. And then instead of discharging it into the stream, we then refeed it to front-end ablutions for reflushing. So it's a matter of treating on site, reuse and recycle and reuse. So the system itself, it comes with the control room in that it's fully automated with a PLC as well as electrical distribution board, in that we are able to monitor the system remotely through the off-site remote monitoring app. And also, when you install the system, we only load water once because it's a closed loop system. So you load it with water once, and therefore that water also does not have to be a clean, potable, consumable water. You can get it from the river, you load it into the system, and then the system will basically then treat it. So the other thing, as I've indicated, the system uses natural biological process to treat the wastewater on site. Therefore, you do not need any chemicals to be treating that water. Now, what we do is we've got 2 different types of models, depending on the amount of liters that you can treat on a daily basis. We've got what you call the T6 model, which treats about 6,000 liters a day. And that model basically takes up to 50 front-end seats. This model is more recommended for schools application, and we also have the T24 model that treats about 24,000 liters a day. So just to showcase the last picture from the bottom right of the slide, that is the installation in Dagakra. The beauty part of this system is that you don't necessarily have to connect to the grid in as far as power is concerned. You can use renewable energy, which is what we have done in the Etembeni Dagakra project. Now, basically, in terms of how it works is that you have the front end, which is where you do your business, you flush, and then when you flush, everything then comes into the back end, which is the EnviroLuclear non-sewage sanitation system. The other thing is that with our system is that you can connect it to already existing ablution facilities, or you can connect it to the new. And when I say already existing ablution facilities, I mean the front-end ablution, which is the request that we have received in the Mpumalanga province through Department of Basic Education and Public Works, wherein they've got schools where they have implemented waterborne systems that are connected to the grid. However, those toilets, they were feeding from the boreholes. Currently, as we speak, those boreholes have run dry, but then they've got these beautiful front-end ablutions that cannot be used because of a lack of water. So we have done assessment on those projects, and then we are at the stage where we are submitting our cost proposal to the department. So, yeah, what then happens is that when you flush, everything then comes into tank number 1. In the tank number 1, we've got the macerator pump, which then shreds any menstrual hygiene products. We also have the lifting pump, which then pump the wastewater into the processing tanks, which are above ground. You would have noticed on the slide that the tank number 1 is under the ground. Then in tank number 2 consists of the primary tank as well as onoxic tank. We know in the primary tanks there's sedimentation that takes place. In the onoxic tank, what we do is we basically add glucose, which is energy, into wastewater, and thus we then start to deal with phosphorus as well as nitrogen. Then tank number 3, that is aeration tank, wherein we introduce oxygen into wastewater, and then we also add in PAC, which is polyaluminium chloride, just to form flocks. And then the bacteria will then attach itself to the solid particles or to the flocks, and then it will digest them. Then the last tank is tank number 4, which is the clear water tank. In this tank, this is where we store the treated water. Now, before we store it in there, we then mix it with the ozone. We ozonate it, and thus we disinfect any pathogens in there. In a normal wastewater treatment plant, this is the point where they will discharge this water into the river or into the stream. In our case, we then feed it back to front-end ablutions for flushing. So, ladies and gentlemen, in our case, the point is just to move away from using clean, potable, consumable water to flush the poo, to be using recycled water on site to do so. Okay, as I continue, I see this, there we go. Okay, I'm just wrapping up. Okay, it's off. Yeah, looks so. Okay, the technology is just gone south. However, I was just wrapping up. From EnviroLu's point of view, how we work, our model is that we keep 10% of the stock on site, in that because we're using what you call the small, medium, micro enterprise companies. Those small micro enterprise companies, they are fully trained. In other words, we transfer the skills to them, and then they are the ones that will basically take care of the onward service maintenance as and when it's required. And that this is related to the mechanical. However, and in terms of the maintenance, what we do is our maintenance schedule, maintenance process, it's well planned and well scheduled in that we do not have to temper or disturb the program of either in the school or in the community where this project is installed. We've got two types of service maintenance stages. Number one, we have the minor service, which is where we basically clean the membranes, and then there's no water loss or downtime on that. Now, the major service takes place after 24 months, wherein we do the dislodging. Because we're dealing with we deal with the sludge on site by using the autoclave or the digester. Therefore, the amount of the sludge that we basically take out there, it's so minimal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is what I have for you with regards to the Environmental Clean and Sewage Sanitation Solutions. And for the sake of time, I can just wrap up on my presentation, and then I can hand over back to the program director. Thank you.
All right, apologies for that. The laptop which just went off. Thanks, Tapelo from Envirolu. So at this point in time, we'll shoot straight into Q&A. So by a rise of hand, let's have a few hands coming up for some of these great innovations that are out there. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 in that order, 2, 3, 4, 5. So please just 5. Just maintain your order. Remember your order. I won't remember, but you at least remember which number you are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there another hand somewhere? Oh, okay.
So who's 1?
6, 7. So we'll try to take 4 first, and then we'll take the other 3 afterwards. So can we take the first 4?
Good morning. My question goes to Mr. Makwela. The innovation, I'm confused because ourselves, when we go to the bathroom, we drink that water there. So I want to understand that it only touches on the toilet alone. It doesn't connect with the sink, the basin, and everything. Thank you.
Number 2, I think it was you, yes.
Thank you very much. I've got too many questions, but I think others are a bit more technical. I will reserve them probably to have direct engagement. Just on the vandal proof, I've noted that it's only for valves, your PRVs and the like. And for major equipments like your pumps, your motors, your MCCs, and you see all those equipments, especially the cables, because most of our municipalities, they suffer in terms of those other equipments. I understand the valves, they are in the community level, they can vandalize, try to get water and so forth, but specifically in the treatment plant, is there any systems that you have invented just to assist in terms of those in relation to the cables, in relation to the pumps, in relation to some of the MCCs and the other equipments, your blowers that gets stolen in the plant? And then the other issue, probably it will go to the second presenter and probably the last presenter. I understand, and also you, Dr. Jennifer, I think one of the challenges we have with these innovations, they are good, as you have presented, and they are a lot, and they are built for specific purpose. But the biggest issue that we have is the issue of funding models for those, even if there is willingness to have those implemented somewhere, somehow. But how do we get assisted in terms of funding? I think Dr. Jennifer did highlight it yesterday. How do we get the mines and the industries through their CSI? Maybe that's one thing we have to, because it's evident that we need them, they're critical, and how do we bring them on board? And then on the issue of the enviro, lose something, Dachakral and so forth, you did cover me partly on the issue of maintenance. That I was going to ask, who does the maintenance? Because I can see you have implemented them at schools, and in terms of the maintenance cost, in relation to the capital cost of installing that specific equipment there, and but maybe you will answer me, because I would think that there should be a time whereby the user or whoever the client is able to do the maintenance themselves, rather than having a long-term contract with you. How do you deal with that part? Let me stop there. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Number 3.
Thank you, Chair. My small question goes to Mr. Makwela Tapelo. It's a beautiful system that you've just, presented on, but I see it's installed in very close proximity, say the schools or the residential areas.
It's large.
Okay, how do you take care of the foul smell that is coming out of it, since it's installed in very close proximity, whether the school?
All right, let's take one more question before I give them a chance to respond. Sorry, it was that. Number 4 was that lady there.
Oh,
but
It's late. Number 4.
Just hold on to the question, please. Note it, and then we'll give you a chance in the next round of questions.
Mr. Facilitator, my first question goes to DG Aqua. On the app, the plumber or Uber plumber, the plumbers, are they qualified plumbers? How do we determine that or verify that as an entity? And after they have done maybe a major work, let's take for instance like municipal work, is there any guarantee or surety on the work done? As you know, water is a problem. And then the second question that I had, I'm not sure if Sis Dudu has raised it, operating the system. Do we need an extra operator? Maybe you have come and installed this in a certain area. We need operators, or it's just automated where I can operate it remotely until such time then it comes for maintenance, where I call out to you maintenance, that it's solely done by you guys, or it can be done by any other service provider. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It looks like most questions are directed to Pasika and Tapelo, and we are yet to have a question on the back system. So I'm thinking hopefully that the next round has question for Dr. Araya. So over to you, Pasika, to answer the questions.
Should I stand or remain seated? Okay, for her sake, let me stand. Okay, thank you very much for the questions, colleagues. The first question was in relation to the bigger infrastructure that can be protected or cannot be protected through the vandal proof. So as is, the biggest chamber that we have is 1.2 by 1.5 high. So any infrastructure that can fit in that, we can cater for. We do acknowledge that there are those bigger pumps that still need to be addressed. Our approach to enter the market was based on the fact that when we focus on infrastructure that is more accessible to the public, we would have greater impact prior to specific infrastructure that is allocated remotely, like the pumps. Stuff like monitoring points. Every kilometer on a pipeline, there is a monitoring point. And we have thousands of kilometers of pipelines. So we thought we should start gradually with such chambers. And if the demand is there, so as per your inquiry, if the demand is high enough, we can develop something to that nature to accommodate such large infrastructure. So the largest infrastructure that we've managed to cater for outside of the chamber, we managed to enhance the enclosure systems that are currently used. We have what we call a glam lock. A glam lock is it's a lock that has 3 pulleys, unlike the current enclosures, which have 1 pulley, whereby if a person who's attempting to vandalize manages to just pull down the pulley, it opens the entire door. And hence vandalism is so rife, because those who know how to attend to opening the door, they get access and can vandalize accordingly. So what we have done in the direction of protecting large infrastructure, we can now retrofit the glam lock onto these enclosures. What the glam lock does is that it has 3 pulleys that are independently connected. And as mentioned, this Bluetooth key that we use, it will activate the lock to open as and when the key is activated to open. So and then we also retrofit with all those sensors that I spoke about: heat sensor, pressure sensor, vibration sensor, humidity sensor. So if there's any form of impact that is made to the enclosure, it sends an alert. The response time is negotiable on who is taking care of the response. Is it a municipal KPI, or is it our service provider KPI? And based on that, we will know who should be responsible to attending to the culprits as and when required. So, ma'am, the best we can do right now is enhance the enclosure of those larger infrastructure with the glam lock and all these sensors. That's the best we can do until further notice, when our R&D has advanced to cater wholeheartedly for those. I hope I've answered your question. Yes, the cables. So the cables, you would understand that they are connected to the equipment, and then they run all the way to wherever they run to. So as soon as contact is made with those cables, by the time they get there, the sensors would have already given the alert. So that's how we activate the response time. Okay? Did I answer your question, ma'am? Thank you very much. You also touched on funding. I'm not sure if you were directing it to him or myself. Both. Okay. So as far as funding is concerned, take, for instance, the project that we were awarded by Nkangala District Municipality. We were required to come with the financing. So yes, there's project financing. Our stakeholder IDC had given us enough to make sure that we can run the project successfully. And even Nedbank was on board to make sure that this project is a success. And then we just ensure that we have a PPP arrangement that will ensure that these funds are utilized accordingly, and it's for the impact of the province, if not the district municipality. So the same can be replicated in other related jurisdictions beyond Nkangala, if that's your inquiry. And then, as you have rightfully put it, we also have private sector that wants to contribute to the sustainability of our water infrastructure, specifically for access to the water. We have companies that are solely reliant on water, such as your beverage companies, your Coca-Colas, Nestle's, and SABs of this world. A minimum of 70% of their product is water. So it's in their best interest to contribute to the preservation thereof. So yes, there are corporate social investment funds that are available that can be channeled in this direction. You have a variety of mines, one of them being Exaro. Exaro is definitely on board to contribute their CSI for the sustainability of water, solely because whenever there's a drought...
Sorry, I have to ask you to try to be short.
Okay.
Sorry, because...
All right.
Also
Let me,
time.
thank you for that. Yeah, I would have went on a tangent. Let me, if I've done justice to your question, ma'am, I can move over to the next. All right, so are the plumbers qualified? Short answer, yes. Can I get into the longer answer to satisfy her? Just
the guarantee aspect.
Okay.
And operating systems. Yeah.
All right, so first and foremost, we have two aspects. We can train them to be certified, or when they come through, they come with their qualifications. And if they don't have qualifications, we are working with EWCETA that accredits them based on the skills of prior learning. And then each skill that they're accredited for, we include in the database, and you will be assured that they are certified. And we vet them, making sure that they are within the Home Affairs and they have no fingers with SAPS that are a bit dirty, to say the least. So you're always protected, okay? And then guarantees on workmanship, once again, for them to be certified, they had to go through a particular process to validate that they can do the work. But needless to say, we have a paper trail of before intervention and after intervention. We have all the details of who did the job, when they did it, how they did it, and you only pay when you are satisfied with the workmanship. Should anything go wrong beyond a certain time frame, as per the T's and C's, that we shall deal with when we cross that bridge.
Okay,
thank you very much.
Now let's welcome Tabelo to just touch on the smell as well as the capex cost versus the opex cost, and how to avoid touching of the recycled water by the gentleman.
Thank you. With regards to the capex cost, I've indicated that we've got two models. The T6 model, you're looking at 896,000 rand, and the T24, you're looking at 1.2 million rand, and that is just the back end. And I know it sounds high, but how you need to look at it is the long-term part of it, in that you are not going to be recapitalizing in terms of installing the system and the benefits that comes with the system itself. Number two, the OPEX, you're looking at 5,000 rand to 10,000 rand monthly, and that cost covers the replacement components. You mentioned motors, the pumps, within the 5-year period. And also what happens after the 5-year period. Now, after the 5-year period, within the 5-year period, we're using that period as a transition in order to be training the local artisans or SMMEs, companies that are identified locally. In some municipalities, we have realized, like Joburg Water, we've done a project with them, and what Joburg had said is that they've got, artisans, millwrights, as well as technicians in house. So let's rather train them so that they can onward take the service maintenance. So that's what we basically have done with Joburg Water, and the similar approach can be replicated in all other projects, should you so wish. Now, in terms of the zinc and basins, so that falls part of the grey water. I have not mentioned, but I'm mentioning now in that our system only focuses on treating the black water so that we can use that water to flush. Now, in terms of the grey water from hand washing basins and kitchens, that one, you can use it, it can go into the V drains, or you can just use it for irrigation. So that's basically what we do. And in fact, for schools, projects that we've done with DBE in the Eastern Cape and KZN, that is basically what they've done. They've designed and implemented the V drains, and that water goes into the V drains.
The other question was related to the smell. I've indicated that we're using the natural biological process to then treat the wastewater. So what happens is that the system around the clear water tank, at that point, the output is already been treated. So you have the overflows, which then goes into back into the collection tank, and that dilutes the water that comes into the collection tank. Essentially, the water that will smell is the water that comes into the collection tank. Now, because we have diluted it with the water that has been treated, that minimizes the smell. I would not say that there's completely no smell. There is minimal smell. However, we also are subjected to ISO 3500 standard, but they're not. We have not been accredited for the fact that there's no SANAS accredited laboratory in the country to basically test for the smell as well as the noise emissions. But with the projects that we've done, there isn't any smell. There isn't. The smell is just basically minimal if you are to visit the one of the sites that we've implemented this project.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Tapelo, for those responses. We have just, I think, some questions this side, 3 of them. You can go ahead, just 1 minute for each question. Oh, okay, sorry, yes. 1 plus, yes. We can't hear.
Hello. Oh, thank you. All protocol observed. My name is Sabu Makhala from the Department of Water and Sanitation. Mine, thank you, Chairperson. Mine is not a question, but rather a request. I'm coordinating a program called Water and Sanitation Education Program, which is within it, there's a project which is called South African Youth Water Prize. That project, it requires learners, it's a school-based project. It requires learners to identify problems within their schools, water and sanitation problem within their schools. So, so they have to develop a model they have to come up with solutions and recommendations, and they have to develop a model. So my request is for all the presenters and stakeholders to request a collaboration to assist the learners in terms of research, because they have to do a research. They have sometimes their project requires the lab where they supposed to be testing, so we don't have such facilities, and the schools, they don't have. So for that, we require your collaboration, especially with your expertise in those areas. Like this year, we had a project which went for national, and they obtained position 3, Elena from Middelburg Muslim High School. She was doing a project, crop project. So I was wondering if ARC can assist further to develop the project, because she got 3rd position in that regard. So for it to grow the learners, I was wondering if we can assist them in that regard. I thank you.
Last question on this side. Oh, last 2 questions on this side. Try to be 1 minute. We wanted to try to finish around about 12.
Okay. Good afternoon. My comment and question. So my comment is that it's very difficult to be a researcher and an innovator. Congratulations, Dr. Are, on the wonderful work. I know that we had a lot of innovations when I was still at the ARC. We won $500,000, but when we tried to do a spin-off, we were asked to resign, because you can't be a researcher and run a business. It's a very difficult one. I don't know how you are going to win with this one. Good luck. My question is on the amount of nutrients that we're adding. I think as part of product offering, please, when you register the PI, add me there. you could add value at it because you know different crops and how much is required in terms of those nutrients. You know, put them in a bottle and sell them as part of the product offering for each of the species that is being grown in the bag.
Just behind this question.
Okay. Okay. Good day. My question is also about the EnviroNuclear. I'd like to know what is the water quality after recycling? And then is that water used for washing our hands? Because there's also the issue whereby we recycle water and they say other people offer such systems that they say the water is good enough for drinking. So is that good enough for washing our hands as well? Or is the water for washing hands expected to come from a different source? Thank you.
All right, at this point in time, thank you for your interaction and question. I will allow Dr. Araya from ARC to comment on the education as well as the question from, then Tapelo will come in to answer that question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I will engage with you regarding the collaboration. That's a great, one of our mandates actually to collaborate with different organizations. Then with the product, I think that's a very valid point. Thank you for the suggestions. Yes, we all know that different, like all of us, we're not the same. We're all human beings, we're not the same. So plants also, they require different nutrients, different water, and so on and so on, and different growing conditions and so on. So we'll consider that. I think you gave us an IP, which is great. We'll implement that. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, with regards to the water quality, I've touched on the point that we are subjected to ISO 3500 standard, in which case all the parameters, pH, COD, total dissolved solids, etc., pH, turbidity, those they get tested. However, because, just to answer your question, because it's a closed loop, now every time when we go to the toilet, you find that we're adding urine. Now, urine, the output of it, once we've treated that water, we kill pathogens. However, the salinity of it, it's high. Not as high as the seawater, so it's just a little bit high. If you touch it, it's not gonna, it's not dangerous for the skin. However, you will have your skin being kind of dryish, but it's not going to be, it's not an irritant kind of feeling. So it's not recommended for hand washing. It's not recommended for drinking. So that is basically for flushing the poo. That's basically what we do. Now, with regards to, you ask a question in terms of, I think, collaboration. We are open for collaboration, and that's basically what the Department of Basic Education have done, as well as DBE, by collaborating with Bitvest in implementing the Etembeni project. Thank you.
All right, so at this point in time, I would like us to give a round of applause for all our innovators, for questions, and if we have further concerns, we can always engage them now just before lunch or around just time, this time. So, but also on the funding model, just to add, is to say, the Water Partnership Office by the National Department, the collaboration between SALGA and DWS, is also trying to come up to prepare projects in various non-revenue, non-sewer sanitation, wastewater, as well as seawater desalination, all that. So they are trying to assist in terms of also that, and even prepare bankable projects such that the private sector can even fund some of the projects. So they are also a contact person that, or contact, they can be contacted also for such as well, to prepare projects in different areas with regards to funding as well. So at this point in time, I also want to thank you for your attention and for your questions, and also let's give a round of applause again for our innovators. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you also to the chairperson of the session, Dr. Tendai, and I give back to him now to continue with the session. Thank you.
Wonderful. Let's clap hands for the team. For Philip and his team. You know what? I was just watching the house today. I realized, let me say this to the WRC executive. I've just realized the gap that people really needed this knowledge. We do research, but the impact, I saw everyone today, they were not on laptops, they were really attentively listening to these, demonstrations. So it becomes very important for us to know that the impact of the research that we do, it makes a difference to the society. So let's continue with the program. I think you see the value and the need that we have in various provinces. So we really want to encourage that to continue. Deputy Chair is there, he's hearing the message. You can see what is happening, that people really need to know and learn about these things. So thank you very much, all the presenters, and thank you for the opportunity that you have given us to learn. And I would like to encourage you to go to the tables and ask more questions for clarity. Our time now, I know the program was saying past. We started late, 30 minutes late, but I think we tried by all means to be within the time that has been allocated for us to run this program. So I want to take this opportunity to invite our CEO, Dr. Jennifer Mulanda, to give us the vote of thanks. And also, I'm going to call upon Dr. Salmina Mokele from UMP for the closing remarks. Let's clap hands for them too, as they are going to come up front.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think from ourselves, we really are grateful that you came, you heard our call and you came and you stayed. And we really have learned, and we hope that we've also imparted knowledge, and that going forward, this doesn't end here. Our interaction and exchange of contacts will take place. First and foremost, I would like to thank you as well, Chairperson Dr. Saunyama, and board member of the Water Research Commission. So the Water Research Commission and its partners roadshow is a great success, showcasing our knowledge. Partner University of Mpumalanga, the regional office of the Department of Water and Sanitation in Komati Usutu Catchment Management Agency, the Komati, Kobwa, and local government representatives from the city of Mbombela and Bushbuck Ridge. The partnership signed will culminate into a structured project plan that will respond to some of the issues raised. In discussion with DVC on the WRC vision, the university is already undertaking, through the Director of Research, a postdoctoral program, and this aligns well with our mandate and of capacity building and increasing the number of experienced and seasoned researchers in the water sector. The concern around the sustainability of the CMA is part of the work that's already been discussed and at the Association of Water Institutions of South Africa, AUSISA, supported by the early research conducted at the Water Research Commission, and that has unfortunately not been taken seriously by the Department of Water and Sanitation. The research, development, and innovation products related to mining, agriculture, and food security, water quality and availability and hygiene, water security, and sanitation technologies represented by the Water Research Commission, research managers, as well as the University of Mpumalanga and our exhibitors, was insightful in showcasing opportunities that the sector entities and departments can draw from the in order to enhance service delivery and enable evidence-based decision-making within government. As we live in Mpumalanga, we are honored that you heard our call and responded to our invitation, that we have used our ability to convene and bring you together to impart knowledge in terms of the strengths that we all have and leverage from that, as well as to identify our weaknesses and see where each and every one of us can support one another. In terms of our capacity building work, do not ever doubt that the WRC has power in capacity building. I stand here as a beneficiary of the Water Research Commission project funding while at Rhodes University many years ago, and now I stand here as a seasoned researcher, highly experienced and trailblazing water professional and CEO of the Water Research Commission. I believe that after the Northern Cape and now Mpumalanga roadshows, the live media coverage and streaming of the WRC, UMP, and IUCMA digital platforms, that more people know about the Water Research Commission and its work. I urge you to always contact the WRC first as a premier water knowledge hub on the African continent and in the world. We acknowledge and thank the exhibitors showcasing the real Water Research Commission funded projects, innovations, and products with us today. I believe we are slowly demystifying research, development, and innovation products and showing that it is not all theory, but real solutions. We wish to acknowledge you all for being present and partners as we share knowledge, learn, and educate one another. I lastly have to single out the following people in our thanks from the Water Research Commission leadership. Our board members, Dr. Harrison Pinar, Dr. Tendai Saunyama, Professor Aldo Strubel. From the University of Mpumalanga, Professor Aldo Strubel, Dr. Naledi Ntite, Dr. Salamina Mokhetle, Dr. Bongiwe Mkata. From the Department of Water and Sanitation, Ms. Dudu Sifunda and Mr. Patrick Ndabeni. From the Ingomati Suchu Catchment Management Agency, Dr. Nicolette Mhlanga-Ndlovu, Dr. Tendai Saunyama, and Mr. Hassani Makubela. From Kobwa, Mr. Sidney Dlamini, and our innovators, Mr. Stephanas Pretorius from Sandwater Extraction System, Mr. Andrew Dabbs in absentia for Water on Tap, Ms. Nonhlanhla Mhlongo, CBSS, Mr. Pasika Lisolang, WHC, Dr. Araya Hinza, ARC, Mr. Tapelo Beja, and Viro Options, as well as Department of Water and Sanitation and the Inkomati Isutu Catchment Management Agency for their exhibitions. From the Water Research Commission, I really want to appreciate the RDI team led by Professor Stanley Lipati, stakeholder and communication team led by Dr. Valerie Naidu. Without you, all this would not be possible, and I would like for them to get a round of applause, please. Last but not least, we also want to thank the support that we got from top-notch marketing and events, and which is the WRC PCO, as well as the technical team from the University of Mpumalanga. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, colleagues. Greetings to all the candidates that are joining us today. My name is Salmina, for those that we did not have the pleasure of meeting yesterday. I'm standing here on behalf of our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Innovation, Research, and Internalization, Professor Aldo Strobel, and also our Director, Dr. Naledi Ntite, who could not join us because of other urgent commitments. We're deeply grateful to our CEO, Dr. Jennifer Mlwantwa, we are grateful. We are also grateful to the entire Water Research Commission team for gracing us with their presence. Our thanks also goes to the board members who were also part of channeling the events for us. We are grateful. Additionally, would like to appreciate Ms. Dudu Sifunda, thank you so much. Dr. Nicoletta, we are grateful that you are here, and also Mr. Sidney Dlamini. A heartfelt thank you to all the session chairs, all the moderators, and the innovators. Without you, this place would not be looking as beautiful as it does. We are also grateful to you as the audience for gracing this occasion. As UMP, we are sincerely excited and grateful that we have signed the Memorandum of Understanding with the Water Research Commission. We are encouraged to continue doing work to solve some of the water-related challenges here in the province. But this is not the work that will be done by us at the WRC only, but we'll also be doing it with many other stakeholders. We are grateful for that. So before you leave our campus today, I encourage you to just take a short drive to see our beautiful campus. We are proud of our campus. Please take a short drive, and I wish you the safest journey to your respective destinations. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salamina, for those remarks, and Dr. Jennifer. So, colleagues, before we leave, lunch will be served at the same venue, here, like where you have your lunch yesterday. So from here, please just go and grab lunch before you leave. But thank you very much for your participation today. I wish you all the best in your journeys going back to your respective places. May God bless you. Thank you. Let's greet one another. Let's just greet one another and network. Our session ends here.